Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on Hamsavahini Vajraasthra. I'm Awhona, and today's video is going to be about my TBR pilot possibilities for the MiddleGradeMarch 2023 Readathon, which has been hosted this year by Krista from Books and Jam, Amanda from The Curly Reader, and Katie from Life Between Words. I'll leave a link to their announcement videos in the description box below, as well as to the overhead cards above. So do please join me further in this video. I'd like to mention that I have all the information written in front of me, so I'll be referring to all that information from here. So we do have a number of prompts and a group read. Now I have tried to include as many prompts as I can, and the only requirement for participation is that we read any one middle grade book. So I do have a couple of them in my TBR, but a lot of them on my pile of possibilities. So let's see how much I can complete. However, let's get down to the prompts. So the first prompt is to read a winner of any award. Read a book which is the winner of any award, which is not a NewBerry award. So the first one which I have chosen is called Ahimsa by Supriya Kelkar, and this has won 2 awards. One is the New Visions Award 2015, and the second is the Neve Award in 2019. Now the New Visions Award is a award for voices of colored authors, and the Neve Award is an Indian award for middle grade books. So this book has won both these awards. So the synopsis from the back of this book reads as, can one girl make a difference in the destiny of a nation? It is 1942 and 10-year-old Anjali's mother has joined India's freedom struggle. Anjali gets unwillingly involved in the turmoil. She has to give up her biases against the Dalit community or the untouchables and sacrifice her foreign-made clothes for khadi, which is an Indian fabric. When her world turns upside down, will Anjali be able to overcome her internal struggles and summon the courage needed to complete her mother's social reform work? So that's the first book on my TBR. Now the next book on my TBR for the same prompt is called The Boy at the Back of the Class by Anjali Q. Roth, and this book has won the Blue Peter Award 2019 as well as the Waterstones Children Award 2019, and this is about a child who is from a refugee camp, and it all describes about how they cope up with it and how modern world sees these children. So The Boy at the Back of the Class is a child's perspective on refugee crisis, highlighting the importance of friendship and kindness in a world that always does not make sense. So the synopsis from the back of the book reads as, there used to be an empty chair at the back of my class, but now a new boy called Ahmed is sitting in it. He is 9 years old, just like me, and he's very strange. He never talks and never smiles and doesn't like sweets, not even lemon sherbets, which are my favorite. But then I learned the truth. Ahmed really isn't strange at all. He's a refugee who's run away from a war, a real one with bombs and fires and bullies that hurt people. And the more I find out about him, the more I want to help. That's where my best friend Josie, Michael and Tom come in, because you see, together we all come up with a plan. So this is a very interesting book, and looking forward to reading this. Now, the next prompt is to read a book which has a picture of a sky or a picture of the sea on its cover. So I do have two books for this, which does have a picture of a sky, and one has a picture of the sea. So the first book, which has a picture of the sky, is A Slip of a Girl by Patricia Reilly-Giff, and this is a historical middle grade read, and it's all about a girl who is trying to keep her family together, and the struggle which she endures to ensure that she has her remaining family who are still alive and with her. They do not perish, and she tries to help them out, and then she runs away, saves herself and her sister, who has special needs, of course, and then she returns to her father's place, and then she fights with the community. So from the back of the book, in the synopsis, it reads as, "For Anna, the family farm has always been home, but now things are changing. English landlords are evicting Irish tenants, destroying their houses and seizing their lands. When a violent encounter with a rent collector results in Anna and her father's arrest, all seems lost. But Anna sees her chance and bolts from the jailhouse. On the run, Anna must rely on her own inner strength to protect her sister and try to find a way to save her family." Written in verse by a master historical fiction, this is a story of adversity and resilience that paints a haunting history of the late 19th century Ireland and Irish land war. So I am coupling this book with another readathon that I'm participating in, which is the Irish Readathon. So that's the book with sky on its cover. Now, the next book has sea on its cover, and this is called Song for a Whale by Lion Kelly. It's a very interesting cover, I absolutely love it. And this is about a girl who is deaf. She uses sign language to communicate, and there is a blue whale which she tries to communicate and tries to teach it a song, because the blue whale, I believe, has a condition as well. So from the synopsis at the back, it reads as, "The whale keeps singing this song and everything in the ocean swims by him like he's not there. He thinks no one understands him. I want to let him know he's wrong about that." 12-year-old Iris is a tech genius and loves fixing things, but she's the only deaf person in her school, so people often treat her like she's not very smart. When she learns about Blue 55, a real whale who is unable to communicate with other whales, Iris understands how he must feel. She works on a foolproof plan to help the whale, but she soon realizes that is not enough. She wants to find Blue 55 herself. So Iris is about to go on the biggest road trip of her life. So this is a very interesting book about a deaf girl and a singing blue whale. So I hope I can get to this because I'm really quite keen on getting to this one. Now, the next prompt is to read a sci-fi novel or a dystopian novel. So we do have the group read for this, which is A Rover Story by Jasmine Werga. And I believe this is all about artificial intelligence and human emotions. So from the synopsis at the back of the book, it reads as, "Resilience, a Mars rover, was built to explore Mars. He was not built to have human emotions, but as he learns new things from the NASA scientists who assemble him, he begins to develop human-like feelings. Maybe there's a problem with his programming. Human emotions or not, launch day becomes, and Res blasts off to Mars, accompanied by a friendly drone helicopter named Fly. But Res quickly discovers that Mars is a dangerous place filled with dust storms and giant cliffs, and as he navigates Mars' difficult landscape, Res is tested in ways that go beyond space exploration. As millions of people back on Earth follow his progress, will Res have the determination, courage, and resilience to succeed and survive?" So this reminds me much of the movie Wall-E. Of course, it's a different circumstance, but then yes, it kind of reminds me of Wall-E. So that's one of the books that I'm really looking forward to. The next book which I have for the same prompt is a dystopian book which is called Dark Life by Cat Fall. So this is a duology. The first one is a middle grade, the second one is YA. So I'm reading the first one for this particular readathon. So this is about thrilling futuristic adventure set deep undersea. Dark Life follows the settlers of the world's first subsea settlement as they defend their homestead against a brazen band of outlaws. So the synopsis from the back of the book reads as, set in an apocalyptic future where rising oceans have swallowed up entire regions and people live packed like sardines on the dry land left. Dark Life is the harrowing tale of the underwater pioneers who have carved out a life for themselves in the harsh deep sea environment, farming the sea floor in exchange for the land deed. The story follows Ty, who has lived his whole life on his family's homestead and has dreams of claiming his own stake when he turns 18. However, outlaws attack on government supply ships and settlements, and Ty has to resolve this with a topsider. So I found this very interesting, so that will be the next book for this particular prompt. Now, the third book which I plan on reading for this prompt, which is sci-fi and dystopian, is called The Line of Mars by Jennifer Hone, and this is about a boy who is living his life on Mars, and there's a mysterious virus which hits Mars, and then things take off from there. So the synopsis from the back of the book reads as, Bell is just like any other kid. He loves cats, eats all kinds of cakes, and is curious about everything. Oh, and he lives on another planet. Living on Mars comes with a ton of rules, like don't go outside without a buddy, always keep a glow stick in your pocket, and no contact with kids in the other settlements, ever. Then a virus breaks out among the grown-ups, and the children are the only ones who can help. Suddenly, it's up to Bell, a regular kid in a very different world, to uncover the truth and save his family and possibly unite the entire planet. So that will be the third book which I'll be reading for this prompt. Now, the fourth prompt, or the last prompt, let's say, is to read a book which features a neurodiverse character. So I've chosen a book which features dyslexia. So, I mean, the character has, or the main protagonist has dyslexia, and this is called Fish in a Tree by Linda Moulay Hunt. Yes, I'm sorry, Mulale Hunt. So that's the book, and the synopsis from the back of this book reads as, Ali has been smart enough to fool a lot of smart people. Every time she lands in a new school, she is able to hide her inability to read by creating clever yet disruptive distractions. She is afraid to ask for help. After all, how can you cure dumb? However, her newest teacher, Mr. Daniels, sees the bright, creative side underneath the troublemaker. With his help, Ali learns to be so hard on herself that dyslexia is nothing to be ashamed of. As her confidence grows, Ali feels free to be herself, and the world starts opening up with possibilities. She discovers that there's a lot more to her and to everyone than a label, and that great minds don't always think alike. So that's the book that I'm reading for the prompt with neurodiverse characters. Now, the next prompt is to read a book which has been released last year. So there are two books which I'm already reading, which has been released last year. So the first is A Rover Story, the group read by Jasmine Verga. This was released on 24th of November 2022. And the second is The Line of Mars by Jennifer Hone, which was released on 31st of May 2022. Now, two more books that I plan on reading for this particular readathon are the Book of Cymbeline, A Kitten's Tale from Summer to Fall, and Book 2, which is the Book of Cymbeline, A Kitten's Tale from Fall to Winter. Both have been written by Emma Stewart, who is also a booktuber, and she's also a host for the Feb Regency Readathon. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description box below, as well as her latest video in which she does mention about the release of the part 2 of her book. So these are the two books that I'm also reading for this readathon. Now, from my pile of possibilities, I do have a mystery quartet which was recommended by Juan from Just One Reader. And I will leave a link to his channel as well as the video in which he made this recommendation in the description box below, as well as in the overhead card above. So this is the Sally Lockhart mystery series, which is a series which is set in classical Victorian London, and I'm coupling this series up with another readathon that I'm participating in, which is the March Mystery Madness Readathon. So I have mentioned about these books in that particular video, so I'll leave a link to the video. So if you just scroll down to within the description, you will find the chapter wise content wherein there are timestamps, so you can definitely check with the timestamp for the Sally Lockhart mystery, which has been written by Philip Pullman. And the first book is The Ruby in the Smoke. The second book is The Shadow in the North. The third book is A Tiger in the Well, which I have not yet received. I am yet to receive it by post. And the fourth is The Tin Princess. So I have mentioned about these books in the video in which I did read out from the synopsis, so you can definitely check with that. So that is one of the mystery series in my pile of possibilities. Now, since the theme of this entire readathon this year is to read more science fiction and science fiction set in dystopian environment, so one of the books that I've chosen for my pile of possibilities is called Forgotten City by Michael Ford. Now, there are a number of authors who go by the name of Michael Ford. So this is the author who resides in England with his family, and this story is about survival. And the synopsis from the back of this book reads as: 13 years ago, the world has ended. A deadly chemical called waste began to spread across the globe, leaving devastation in its wake. Millions died, cities fell into chaos. Anything the waste didn't kill, it mutated into threatening new forms. Kobe has always believed he and his dad were the only survivors, but when his dad goes missing, Kobe follows his trail and discovers a conspiracy even deadlier than waste itself. So this is a very interesting plot, and it does remind me a little of I Am Legend by the movie, and of course there is the conspiracy in I Am Legend, except of the conspiracy of the evacuation, but yes, it's sort of the situation is almost synchronous to the movie as well. So looking forward to getting to this one. Now, the next book, or the next series, I must say, on my pile of possibilities is a trilogy, which is a Moon Murder Case mystery, which is written by Stuart Gibbs, and I'm trying to couple this up with the March Mystery Madness Readathon as well, which will be ongoing during this time, and hopefully I should be able to get to this. So I'm going to read out the synopsis for the first two, because I'm yet to read to receive the third one so far. So the first in the series is called Space Case by Stuart Gibbs, and it's about a murder mystery on the moon, and it's humorous and suspenseful. Now, the synopsis from the back of the book reads as: like his fellow lunanauts, otherwise known as Moonies living on moon base Alpha, 12-year-old Dashiell Gibson, or Dash, is famous the world over for being one of the first humans to live on the moon. And he's bored out of his mind. Kids aren't allowed on the lunar surface, meaning they're trapped inside the tiny moon base with next to nothing to occupy their time. And the only other kid Dash's age spends all his time hooked into virtual reality games. Then Moonbase Alpha's top scientist turns up dead. Dash senses there's a foul play afoot, but no one believes him. Everyone agrees Dr. Holtz went onto the lunar surface without his helmet properly fixed. Simple as that. But Dr. Holtz was on the verge of an important new discovery, Dash finds out, and it's a secret that could change everything for the Moonies. A secret someone might just try to keep, and he needs to kill to keep it. So that's the first in the series. And the next in the series is called Spaced Out, and the synopsis reads as: the Moonbase commander has gone missing and Dash Gibson is on the case. The second mind-boggling mystery of the Moonbase Alpha series from the beloved author Stuart Gibbs. There's nowhere to hide on the world's first moonbase, and after all, it's only the size of a soccer field. So when Nina Stack, the commander of the Moonbase Alpha, mysteriously vanishes, the Moonies are at a total loss. Though he may just be 12 years old, Dashiell Gibson is the best detective they have got. But this confusing mystery pushes Dash to his limits, especially since Dash accidentally made contact with an alien and has to keep it a secret. With the fate of the entire human race hanging in the balance, will Dash be able to solve the mystery of the missing Moonie? So I'm trying to get to this series, and hopefully if I do, I possibly will also go for the third, because it's a trilogy. Another book on my pile of possibilities, which is dystopian, is called Scrap City by D.S. Thornton. It's a very old book, and the synopsis from the back of the book reads as, would you believe that under the ground, right beneath your city, was another city? Would you believe it was populated with scrappers, people built of metal and glass and stone? Jeremy has no choice but to believe it after he meets Archie. Archie is a scrapper, and he and Jeremy quickly become friends, maybe even brothers. So when Archie's city is in danger, Jerome knows he must help, but helping Archie means hurting Jerome's dad, the only real family Jerome has. Now, one of the dystopian series which I am really trying to include in my pile of possibilities, but I know I may only be able to read one of them, if not the entire quartet, and that is The City of Embers by Jean Dupro, and that's a quartet. And I'm just going to read out the synopsis from the first in the series. So from the back it reads as, Ember is the only light in a dark world, but now its lamps are beginning to flicker. The city of Ember was built as a last refuge for the human race. 200 years later, supplies are running low and terrifying blackouts are sweeping through the streets. It's only a matter of time before the lights go out and never come back again. When Lena finds part of a secret message, she's sure it holds a clue that will save Ember. She enlists her friend Dune, and together they explore long-forgotten parts of the dying city as they race to solve the mystery. If they succeed, they will have to convince everyone to follow them into the danger. But if they fail, the lights will burn out and the darkness will close in forever. So let's see if I can get through this mystery series. So that will be the last series which will be on my pile of possibilities. So those are the few books that I plan on reading. Of course, I will try my very best to come to my pile of possibilities after completing my TBR. So let's see where I get from there. And with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. Do let me know if you have read any of them before, or if you would like to buddy read any of them with me, if you have the same books on your TBR as well. And I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. So till then, I will see you soon again. Next week in another video. So do take care and have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.